Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Congratulations. On behalf of the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes Know, you are now a member of the Jedi Alliance. May the Force be with you, always.
Live from Tatooine with the twin suns bearing down on us once again here in the valley outside Los Angeles. It's at least 105 outside. It's got to be 120 inside our little Obi-Wan hut that we call this studio here, but I'm so glad to be here. This is Jedi Alliance, the celebration of the greatest saga ever told. I'm your host, Ken Napzok, here from the Popcorn Talk Studios. We're going to have a blast today. I think it's a fun, loose show kind of starting. We've got some returning guests. This man and I have been talking Star Wars all day, actually. We just came from the Far, Far Away podcast with John Roca. It is returning guest Joseph Scrimshaw.
Hello.
How are you, man?
Good. I'm happy to be here and say more things about Star Wars.
We have been talking a lot about Star Wars today. We had a great talk with John, who's also a guest of this show, and I definitely, like I say, the universe is big enough for a lot of different Star Wars shows. Please support Far, Far Away, and Joseph and I will be on that episode, probably released tomorrow. But joining us now, again, second week in a row.
Hi.
Out from the engineer booth and in the limelight of Jedi Alliance, it's Mark Donica.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for bringing me back in here.
Did your mom just drop you off at the parking ride with $1?
Yeah. Nice fancy pan on my lapel again.
You got IG-88 back?
Now I've got this is the Vinylmation IG-88. I'm trying to collect as many IG-88 stuff as I can now, just because, dang it.
Okay, explain to me the IG-88 obsession. Go deep with this.
It's really not that difficult. He's a robot who's a bounty hunter. That's pretty.
You always had one sentence, and I already have several issues.
Dig in, Joseph. Dig in.
Did you choose to say robot?
Robot, yeah.
That was a choice? No.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you make that choice?
It seems more fitting.
So
robot. It's robot.
So what about IG-88 is butt-like to you? He is a thin, long reed.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So he's a Ronobut.
Yeah, Ronobut. But no, the butt is in his name. That's where the compensation comes from.
Okay.
And of course, Mark, have you emotionally recovered from the knowledge that an Ugnaught beat IG-88 in the figure fight?
Nah, I'm about 3 bottles of Redbreast whiskey down.
Nice.
Just
this is one of the men who did you vote for the Ugnaught?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Monster.
Yeah, he is a monster. He's a monster.
He's got a briefcase. You can't beat him.
Cannot beat the Ugnaught
not a robot
briefcase.
with a blaster, but to be fair, we don't know what's in the briefcase, so I'll give you that.
It's a mystery.
That's right. I think it's his lunch. But we have a fun show. We're going to be taking your Cantina confessions later in the show. For the standby for that, I'll give out the number at the appropriate time, and you're going to confess if you're listening live. You get a chance to call in and participate, and we will provide comfort and sympathy and empathy for you and your Star Wars confessions. We got some bonus questions coming up since both these gentlemen have been on the show. We don't need to do the 5 most important Star Wars questions, so I've come up with some Star Wars questions. We're going to dig in, and of course, Duel of the Fates, recapping last week's Dash Rendar versus Star Killer Duel of the Fates, which was predictably one-sided, but there were some great comments there, and we have a fun Duel of Fates coming your way. But right now, we're going to dive into the Star Wars news. We call it From the HoloNet, where we take a look around at the Star Wars news that broke since the last time we were on air and talk about it. And I will say it's kind of a quiet week in the Star Wars news world. I think everyone's gearing up for San Diego Comic-Con, and that is actually our top story today. Our top story tonight. San Diego Comic-Con panel, Star Wars panel, has been confirmed for Friday night in Hall H. That's at 5:30 p.m., so start lining up now. And get your tent city ready and wait out there. And this is going to be a big panel because, as you know, Marvel and all their superhero fun is pulled out of Comic-Con this year, but you have Disney Lucasfilm saying, don't worry, we'll be there on Friday night to kind of close Hall H for that day. It's going to be a big panel. They have announced, quote unquote, special guests who'll be joining producer Kathleen Kennedy, director J.J. Abrams, writer Lawrence Kasdan, and maybe BB-8. You guys, I love Lawrence Kasdan, but have you ever heard that guy talk?
Demands to be said like Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, I told George Han needed to go. That's Lawrence Kasdan. I love what the guy did, man, with Empire. You two both going to Comic-Con?
Yes.
No. No. The last year was spent waiting outside of Hall H and doing absolutely nothing. I don't want to pay.
Dying slowly?
Yeah. For Saturday morning, I got in line Friday night at about 5 p.m., 6 p.m.
Right.
And by about 8, they're like, okay, if you're at that part of the line is the end of the line, and they're making it in, so you're not making it in.
Schmoes Know put in Cobster, Christian Ruvacabla, and Josh Tapia, JTE in line. We put them in line 2 weeks before Comic-Con began. By the end of it, they had eaten squirrels that they captured from the bushes and cooked, and they were able to just get in.
San Diego squirrels, though, are pretty good.
They're pretty meaty,
yeah.
And I remember the night I gave JT a pillow for my hotel room. He just appeared at my door, true story, knocked, I opened the door, I go, yeah, and he goes, can I have that pillow? And gave him the pillow. This is going to be a big panel, though. Are you guys expecting any surprises, or is it just going to be status quo? Bring out the droid, bring out the actors, show a trailer, or show a new trailer? What do you think, Joseph?
I think they're going to do a new trailer.
Okay.
Because I think they're due for one more, and that would pretty much do it then.
Right.
For trailers.
Well, yeah, you got D23 coming out. D23 is in August, I believe, which is Disney's own convention.
Third week. That one I'm going to.
You're going to? And I went to the last D23, and it was great. That's when we got the big announcement about Star Wars. Nope, we didn't. We got nothing. We just got Disney Nature's Bears. But this year, I don't think they're going to hold out for D23 like a lot of people anticipated, because Marvel not being there, Disney wants to maybe say, don't forget, we're still around. Not that they need it, but I think they want to for the competitive edge. So, over and under, or just yes or no predictions. Harrison Ford, you think he'll be there?
I think yes.
I think he'll be there for D23. I don't think he'll be there for Comic-Con.
For Comic-Con. Okay.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Yeah.
And you're right, Joseph. I think this is your last big opportunity to put something new, big, and you might not need anything else trailer-wise until the movie comes out.
I think Comic-Con, unlike maybe I'm wrong about D23, but I think Comic-Con gets more coverage from people who are not geeks, media that is not geek, kind of looking like, what are all the geeks talking about? They're all gathered here this week. They get a lot of non-geek coverage, which I think they want to make sure that Force Awakens destroys all box office records ever.
D23's been going a little bit more in that thing because it's become a family convention, so it's more of a general media. So I think Comic-Con's going to get a trailer, and I think D23 is just going to get footage. I think they're just going to show straight up like 10, 15 minutes of the movie.
That's not a bad prediction because
it's happened for other films that they've shown at D23 before.
Like Disney Nature's Bears.
Ultron.
But you can kind of split the difference. You know, you're going to win Comic-Con Hall H on that day anyway. Yeah. Hold back the laser blasts. Keep the big guns coming on D23, because I think they want to drive a lot of people to D23. Again, Disney doesn't need the press, but I think they
have to do something
it.
at Comic-Con, though. It can't just be Star Wars is going to be awesome. Here's the cast again. I mean, they can't repeat.
So trailer.
It's got to be a trailer. Harrison Ford or George Lucas. They obviously won't do that, but that would be great if he just came out and was like, I haven't seen it. I don't know if it'll be good.
I'm seeing it as a fan for the first time.
He'll be the first person on the Q&A. Like they'll turn the spotlight on and be like,
no.
I have some issues.
Yeah, I have some issues, but I will be there. Looks like at this point I will be covering that panel for schmoesknow.com, so I'll have all the information, and JT will shoot my video right after Hall H with me bleary-eyed from having waited in the press line.
It's like he's here.
Yeah, it's almost like he's here. Next story from the HoloNet. We're staying in San Diego. I love one of the best things about San Diego Comic-Con is those exclusives, or are those exclusives, I should say. And one of them is sitting right here. It is the Jabba the Hutt, if you're watching on iTunes. The Jabba the Hutt with Sally B. Crumb and the hookah, as Joseph called it, the
Snackquarium.
Patent pending.
It's from a book. It's not canon anymore. It was from some books. Snackquarium.
Tales of Jabba's Palace.
Portmanteau.
Oh boy. Fill my snackquarium. This was an exclusive last year that I actually picked up from my friend Christina from Halo 13 comic and collectible shop that I go to, and I paid a good cash price for it, I will say. Dropped down some ducats for that one. This year, one of the big exclusives is another Star Wars Black Series toy. It is the Rancor set. These are the 3 3/4 figure scale, of which that Jabba is. It will include Jabba, C-3PO, Slave Leia, a Gamorrean guard who will no doubt meet his death, and Luke Skywalker in Jedi Knight outfit, which, as we know, is one of the more popular characters.
Absolutely.
Of all time, right?
Best action figure.
And, of course, the Rancor. But I ask you, Can you pick out who is missing from that set of figures?
The Rancor Keeper.
Right.
Yeah. What is it? I can't remember. I can never remember. I get
Mechaleka Hi, Mekahini Ho.
Yeah, MAL, and then there's some K's and I's, and I don't remember what it is.
Right. Wow, that's kind of an oversight to me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait for this one. I'm going to wait for this.
Maybe they're putting him out as his own figure, and he's actually weeping.
Crying action?
The mold of the action figure is actually his big weeping face.
But also no Sally Crumb. There's no Sally
Sally
in there,
B.
too.
Oh, wow.
Get me some Sally B.
Yeah.
I want that.
Never
there.
get too much.
No, you can never get too much of Salacious B. Crumb. There's going to be a lot more San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. There's ones already been announced. I believe the Force Awakens Stormtrooper, First Order Stormtrooper is going to be out there as well, right?
Yep.
Which we also heard that there's some origin story stuff of the First Order listed on the box. We were talking about that earlier today. I don't think it gives away too much.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's cool that there's a connective thread from clones to Stormtroopers to First Order, and that's something you were behind, Joseph.
Yeah. It's there's no specifics, but it's really trying to attach the idea that the clone troopers are related to the stormtroopers to these new troopers.
Right.
I think it called them stormtroopers, but I'm wondering if they're going to get a different name.
Could be something else.
I hope.
But it's good. It's a connective thread, and it is what we kind of need. And the new design of the Stormtroopers, I'm very much a fan of. Mark, when you see those designs, what does it do for you of the Stormtroopers?
Maybe they can actually make a shot.
Right.
That's really the first thing.
We're thinking that this is going to be the year they do it.
Get a little bit more periph. Like, just please do a little bit more target practice with these now.
Yeah. Do you enjoy the connective thread of these Stormtroopers 30 years later, or would you have rather seen something completely new?
A little column A, little column B. It's nice because then you get the story thread that connects the clones to the Stormtroopers that everybody was like, well, was it a draft, or is it how many clones are left, or what's going on? So I like it from that aspect. Just because I don't know the full story of until we see the movie, don't necessarily. Yeah. I like the idea, but until I see it executed.
Going back to the Rancor, K. Heisig75 in the chat room brought up a very good point. If you buy the Rancor, you are the keeper.
Oh, that's very nice.
Does it come with the thing?
You get a little towel over your head, you take your shirt off, you kind of wander through your house crying.
I am ready to own this action figure.
So that is that for that, but also the final news story, we're staying with the Black Series, which brought back the ATSD. Maybe the Ewoks will not attack at this time. It'll stay up during the entire show.
It's looking tired.
I've been a big fan. I think everyone generally is, whether you collect them or not, you're a big fan of the Black Series toys. They look so good. They're very impressive. And I think Mike Black, our toy expert, brought up a great point that what makes them so appealing to us is we're older now, our hands are bigger, and these figures have stayed in scale, reminding you of your childhood when you held those 3 3/4 inch figures in your hands. And I think it's good. But going over the last week, there's been a poll out from Hasbro that's been on a lot of fan sites and blogs, and you can, I think, still participate. It is running out of time. You are running out of time. But you can go on the StarWars.com page, and it's right there. I'm reading it now, and it says, who will be the next 6-inch Black Series figure? You decide. And get in there and list who you want. They're going to announce it at Comic-Con who the winners are. So that's why I'm saying the poll is kind of ending. Get to it tonight. The final poll, I think the voting closes. The top picks from each site will be entered to a final poll on StarWars.com, which kicks off July 2nd. That's coming up. That is Wednesday. So, Thursday. So the question that I want to ask you two simply is, of the Star Wars Black Series line, what has been your favorite so far, and what do you want to see in a 6-inch figure now? Joseph.
I like the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
The Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Prequel Obi.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite characters, and he just looks so cool, and there just can't be enough action figures of him in existence as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And I think he translates well to that scale. I'm excited. I would be excited to see another Leia. Because right now we have Slave Leia. And we have Bush Bausch Boosh.
Bush Bausch Boosh is coming out.
Bush Bausch Boosh is coming out soon.
With thermal detonator. But
I'd love to see a different Leia. And I liked when the Kenner series became Hasbro, rebooted in the 90s, that they did a lot of little costumes that are only seen for a moment. And there's basically the kind of Hoth outfit that she's wearing on Bespin when they're escaping.
Yes.
And I like that. It's just kind of a white, slightly padded jumpsuit. It looks like kind of what's under the Hoth suit, maybe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that would be a cool figure for me to see.
Absolutely. That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I'm surprised, though, you didn't list Pruneface.
Well, Pruneface or Ori Marco would obviously be my first choice. I'd also like to see Major Bren Durlin.
Yeah, get John Ratzenberger up there again.
Big John Ratzenberger.
Princess, we must close the shield doors, and I must go get a drink.
Modern day John Ratzenberger in the old. Fantastic.
Yeah, it comes with a mic, so you can do a Pixar movie.
Donica, where are you at with this? What do you want to see from Black Series, and what have you liked so far?
Well, I think it goes without saying that we should get another round. I agree with the Leia, but Combat Poncho Leia, clearly, clearly
dominated.
Well, in this set, they have Leia with Combat Poncho. It's a 3 3/4, but you want the 6-inch.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Exactly. I'm not as familiar with the Black Series. I'm still on the cusp of the collecting phase. Fresh out of college, fresh out of debt.
Stay a while.
Really,
stay forever.
all of the designs are just that extra detail to character that, as fans, we go, yes. I own the character now. Like with this, like Jabba, there's a scent. There's a little bit of just a gross sliminess that just makes you feel like you're in his palace. And that's just in general, I like the Black Series for that.
Yeah. A lot of people want Combat Poncho. Tim Van Newland wants Lobot, a 6-inch Lobot.
No. I mean,
Schmoes JTE, I don't know where he's tweeting from, but he wants
bizarre.
a Stallone Han Solo figure. I don't think that's possible. Yeah.
If they make Lobot and you go into Target anywhere between now and The Force Awakens, that is all you will see. It will be giant sad Lobot.
That and some slave Leias that
are still there that clearly not.
My good. Then you can share that memory with your kids. This is what it was like when I was growing up.
Right. This is when I went to the shelf.
I already have that memory. I don't want it larger. It's just the same memory I had. Larger.
For me, I love the Vader is great. The classic Vader is great, and I have it paired up on my wall. That's right. If you're a single lady and would like to become repulsed by my room, that's right. I have hanging quite prominently a Black Series Darth Vader right next to a Black Series Jedi Luke Skywalker. Both of those figures together look great in the packaging. Okay, I hang them on the wall. But I would like to see, someone mentioned it here, I want to try to give them credit, a Tarkin. A good old Eric Rubin 1 says Tarkin figure would be dope, and I agree, it would be dope. And I think you should buy a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive of Tarkin in slippers, in Peter Cushing slippers.
That would be great.
That's what I think you should do.
That would be awesome.
There's a new line coming out now. I think the Emperor's in that one. I have the Han Solo in Stormtrooper. Bausch is coming out. I think if they're not already, go raid your local Walgreens like I do. I'm going to go buy a pack of gum and a $20 action figure at my Walgreens. So that is from the HoloNet, a look at Star Wars news over the last week. Quiet week, like I said, but I'm sure it's the calm before the storm. And I think coming out of
the con before the storm.
The con before the storm. Mark.
I'm terrible.
No, that's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. I think I think we're going to come out of the con with a lot of things to discuss, whether it just be toys, reveals, and all that kind of stuff. So from there, I want to go into the bonus questions. And from time to time, we like to do this with my returning guests who've had a chance to answer the 5 most important Star Wars questions. We like to throw some bonus questions out there. A lot of times I'll put it out to you in the audience to say, hey, what do you got? This time I just sat down with some Redbreast whiskey and came up with some questions myself.
Please sponsor.
Yes. Some are pretty simple.
Some you
are
can taste the Redbreast.
I had to look for some of these. Just like what?
They're great.
They're fun. They're fun.
So Fan Solo says the clam before the con. It's similar to what Mark says here. So let's dive into these questions. I'll take your guys' answer and I'll throw in as well. Like I said, it starts simple. We've talked about this a lot on the show. You know where I stand, but I want to hear from you guys. What is your favorite Rebel ship? Mark?
And from what little you've heard from me, this is probably an easy answer. The Star Speeder 3000, as featured in Star Tours at Disneyland. It inadvertently, throughout the course of the ride, becomes a rebel ship by attacking the Death Star.
It counts. It goes on the run.
Yep.
It runs.
Plain and simple.
Piloted by Rex.
It's the only one that it's because we're in it.
I love that you love this, and I'll tell you why. Because I've been riding that ride since it opened. All right, I was there the first month that it was there. Wasn't there the opening day?
It sounds like a euphemism, but it's not.
I've been riding that ride.
You've been riding that ride.
I've been riding that ride. Like I said before, things are things. I've been there for a long time,
Brilliant.
and
There's the red breast again.
In my younger days, I would sit there thinking to myself, well, this ship must have been in Jedi, and I missed it. Like, I must have missed it in Star Wars. Like, it was canon to me. And I love that here it is, another generation of Star Wars fan that you are. You're like, no, man, that thing, I'm in it. I have Rex's speech memorized.
I do. I did. I don't want to do it again, but I did.
Absolutely. So I accept that answer, Mr. Scrimshaw.
Well, not Y-Wing. I'm sorry.
Damn it,
I'm
Team
sorry,
Y-Wing.
Ken. I'm sorry, Ken. Did you play the Rogue Squadron video games?
I did not as much as you would think, but
Okay.
I do understand you can pilot a Y-Wing.
Yes,
right?
the Y-Wing has a great shield, but is incredibly slow. So it takes you a long time to get everywhere, and everybody is shooting you constantly. So it's kind of like life. It's not moving fast enough, and you just have to take it.
This is why I call Joseph the great Star Wars pontificator, because he just equated a Y-Wing to life in an excellent manner. All right, so you don't want to join on Team Y-Wing. Who do you got?
I like the A-Wing is kind of ridiculously simple for Star Wars, but it's fast. And I like that.
Right.
I like that it is a fast, darty little ship. It seems like the kind of ship for cocky rebel pilots who are going to do things like fly it into the bridge of a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
So there's something I like about that.
Okay, I can accept that. I can accept the A-Wing. Oh, it's like a little Mazda RX-7 driving on the freeway. It's just going...
it's a midlife crisis, Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, it's a midlife crisis. JTE says Star Destroyer. Wrong team, JTE. Wrong team. We do have Melanie Don. I love that idea. You said the B-Wing. It feels like an A-10 Warthog, which
Nice.
is her favorite fighter jet plane ever. It's also my favorite Cobra. The Rattler is a Warthog, basically. So the B-Wing gets a lot of love. Mike Kerwan says the Tantive 4, and I think that's a great thing. The Tantive 4, the blockade runner, when you see it at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and you're wandering around the halls with Captain Antilles and Bail Organa, I'm on board for that.
Yeah.
It brought me back to A New Hope in an excellent manner. Yeah, it was good. It was familiar halls in a good way, and you knew what was going to happen there, and I like it. So Tantive 4, that's a good one. JT says the ship Han Solo drive. Yes,
Drive.
Yes, good grammar there.
Drive one
Good
time
there.
drive.
Next question on my list is it's one that's going to take a lot of thought to I hope you put some thought into this one, and I wish Jennifer Landa was here to answer, but it is favorite Ewok. Joseph, what do you got?
The baby.
The baby
from the one shot. I think I might have this wrong. I think it's Pablo who actually steals the speeder bike,
and not Tebow. Yes, I think you're right.
I think it's Pablo.
Pablo.
I think Paploo.
Yeah,
I believe it is him. I could be wrong. But whichever Ewok that is, I don't think it's Tebow. That's the Ewok who has the most proactive moment.
Right.
Who does something actually productive and pretty cool.
That's a great point. He's like, and he's a man of action.
Yeah.
He's like, none of this sneaking around. I'm going to go steal that motorcycle and make them chase me. And I love that moment. So we'll go with that one for you and Mark Donica.
That's my name.
Sorry. Melanie's like, my favorite Ewok is any dead Ewok. Oh wow. That's dark.
Actually, I was going to say the one that gets shot, but the one that comes up and like, hello?
Yeah.
Wake up. Like, that's my favorite because it has the most heart.
Nanta is the one that dies. Nanta's the one that dies, but you want the one, his friend. Yeah.
Yes, just because then you're like, please get revenge. Like, become a Jedi, seek vengeance on that stormtrooper. Yeah. Or maybe there's something visual that we don't see behind the scenes where it's just like a quiet assassination of a single stormtrooper. But that Ewok's got the most heart.
I love it. We got a lot of things going in here. We got Fan Solo says, give Chief Chirpa some love.
I was going to say Chirpa.
And we've got the shaman, who is, of course, Logray, the medicine man, who fared very well in one of our figure fights earlier. The Mike Hogan says, the lumberjack from Caravan of Courage, which is a good one there. I am going, you know what, and Wicket, you can't overlook Wicket.
You can try, but it never works.
My favorite Ewok is, and I'm not sure the name, and it might even be, no, I don't think it's Pablo. My favorite Ewok is the one that looks at C-3PO when he first comes up and starts to speak and looks to his friend and says, "That guy wise." That is my favorite Ewok, because as a kid, I'm like, oh, the Ewoks kind of speak English. Like, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So, next question is, what is the one accomplishment of a Star Wars character that you would like to have on your resume? So we're sticking within canon. You can stick with the original 6. You can go Clone Wars. But what of who accomplished what? If you were in that universe, it's the one thing you'd want to do.
That's very difficult.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would have wanted Palpatine's accomplishment of destroying the Old Republic. That's really the thing
a good one.
that on your resume, on your CV, that's going to get you hired other places. Bullseye to Womp Rat is not really
Not
like
the one you want. Not the one you want.
A little gross, a little mean. So I think I want to have destroyed an entire government from the inside and rebuild it in my own image.
You are Sheev to the core.
Destroy bureaucracy.
Yeah. This is how liberty dies. Donica.
I was gonna go with something a little bit brighter with Lando, like running and operating a city floating in the sky. Like that's awesome.
A little reform in his life.
Yeah. You turn a corner, you never think you get a second chance, and you're somebody that people look to.
Yeah.
You may turn to the dark, not necessarily the dark side, to the Empire for a second, but it's to. He did that with his city in mind.
Right. I like how Lando maybe did a GoFundMe to get the money to buy Cloud City in your version. Like, he's got to turn himself around.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
He ended up going into politics. Like, I need a little bit more for my campaign.
Those are two good ones that I didn't expect you guys to answer. And there's a lot of good choices out there. Kyle Harlow,
like Star Speeder pilot. Like, is that what you were expecting?
You would be like, I'd like to give a tour of Endor.
Yeah. I'm not that.
Kyle Harlow says he'd like to make the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Yep. There's a lot of things about the Death Star, taking down the Death Star. I think that's very good. I'd say that Luke defeating Vader is a good accomplishment that I'd want.
Actually, another one would be surviving the entire attack on the Empire, like Wedge. Like going through all 3 movies and not dying. Like that's a pretty good accomplishment.
The accomplishment I want, and some people...
Not dying.
I've seen some people say it in here, but it's pretty simple for me. I'd like to kiss Princess Leia and be able to tell the friends down at the cantina bar.
I was thinking of this as like a resume thing. Just
that's a resume.
I kissed a girl, by the way, so please hire me.
I would like to be sexually interrupted by C-3PO. That's the true accomplishment.
I'll take it. I'll take that moment, and it's kind of a bar resume thing.
Okay.
It's like, you know,
then I would have the 127 hours moment, falling out of Cloud City and catching myself and surviving.
That's a good moment too. That's a good. You know, it's like you ever date the girl at work. You know, you're like, don't worry, I got her. I'm the guy. It'd be Han. That's Han and Leia. All right. The next question is least effective Imperial officer. Mark, Donica, there's a lot of choices.
There is.
And this could go into a lot of the cartoons. Even Rebels had some very ineffective Rebel Imperial officers. That's
exactly where I'm going.
Go for it.
Rebels. I'm looking at Cumberlane Oresco and Miles Grint.
That is some great research there, buddy.
Yes, those two, because it's a very, very striking scene. They get presented in front of Tarkin.
Right.
And they're essentially asked, hey, why didn't you capture this kid and this group of rebels? They're like, oh, well, they were too... We couldn't hit it. It was crazy. Oh, my God. He says, well, this is never going to happen again. And then the Inquisitor, with his lightsaber, impales both of their heads at the same time.
Yeah.
So very striking for a cartoon. And also just like, how can you... I mean, he's not even a full-fledged Jedi yet. He's still very, very weak. Not necessarily weak in the Force, but he's not as cultured in his Force usage.
Yeah.
You can probably catch Ezra.
Right.
Two kids and a bunch of Imperials.
Kid.
Like, come on.
14-year-old kid, right? All right. Scrimshaw.
I think I have to go with the sand troopers who do not check the unlocked closet that R2-D2 is hiding in.
It's an Imperial officer who's leading them. Yeah, absolutely.
Saved the entire Death Star if they had checked.
That's a good point.
The unlocked storage shed right next to the cantina where they know droids aren't allowed. I mean, really, they know droids aren't allowed in that cantina. They should have lined up for droids being kicked out of cantinas.
That's an excellent one. I am going, and I've seen it on this list as well, is Admiral Ozzel. I think that this guy was pig-headed. He kind of thought he was cocky. He thought he was above Piet. I think in a way, thought he was above Vader. I think he was an old guard of the Imperial officer. Piet, Veers, those kind of Nita, even though he paid the price, those guys were the younger generation of Imperial officers who grew up knowing they needed to fear Vader. I think Ozzel was from the old school, like from Tag and Modi, where he just kind of felt this lackey. This crazy lackey in a mask.
Old enough to kind of know what he was. And, like, the rest of the universe is maybe not talking about Jedi now, but we're like, we know exactly what this guy is.
Right.
He's dressed in this frightening armor, and he's basically vice president. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. We got this crazy guy in a cape calling himself my boss, and I think Ozzel just took it upon himself, and if he had been victorious and been smart about it, he would have been alive. Instead, he is choked out over a telecommunication device and lays on the floor while Piet steps over him to take his place. So I'm going with Admiral Ozzel. I Am Ninja Panda says, Ozzel was a fool. He was. He was. David Barnes says Tarkin, and that's not a bad thing, too. I think he was very effective over the course of his career, just ineffective at the most important or least important time, depending your point of view. All right, here's one of the big questions.
All right.
I think you know what's coming.
Yeah.
The answer cannot be kill him. But the question is, how would you have made Jar Jar Binks better? Silence. Run with it, Martin.
This one took some thought, but if we just boil it down to the basic, we have. In the original trilogy, we have this giant 6-foot-tall teddy bear that you don't necessarily have to take seriously, but he's still imposing.
Could have been bad, yeah.
Could have been bad. Could have also just been ridiculously silly. If you had made Jar Jar a practical effect, I think that would have been the first behind-the-scenes thing that you could have done to make him a little bit more actually there, even though, et cetera, et cetera. But if you had given it the slapstick, just lose the slapstick for the first part of it, and given him like an actual backstory as opposed to just like, this guy's a screw up, we're not letting him back into our town. Like with the Lone Ranger that came out a couple years ago with Tonto, everybody was like, oh, that's how they're portraying Native Americans? That's terrible. No, he was the outcast because of something that happened to him. And as a result, it gave him a stronger backstory and why he acted that way. So if for Jar Jar, if you gave him something to make us sympathize with him, as opposed to like, oh, icky icky goo, as opposed to something like that, maybe we would have taken him a little bit more seriously.
That's an excellent point.
Yes, I would make him a sincere idiot. Like an actual, like Mark is saying, somebody who is like your buddy who thinks they're always about to pull their life together, and you get to them at the bar and they're telling you like their new great plan to pull things together, and you can tell it's utterly flawed. Like those are the moments there's few moments where Jar Jar really does pop. And one of my favorite prequel lines when Qui-Gon says the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. And I feel like Jar Jar is just kind of, if they had kept it to that, of this guy who's kind of an idiot, running his mouth, easily duped into voting for the wrong things.
Dello Feligates.
All of that. That just a much more idiot character, also with an different voice. The voice is hard.
Yeah, Ahmed Best, I always feel bad for that guy. He did a good job with what he was given, but it wasn't.
He did what he was asked.
A lot of people in the chat room saying give him a voice, or Dylan Esposito says give him a voice that no one understood, like Neenum or number of characters. That would have been tough as a lead character, but
it would have been fun if he had a little bit of a sort of weird comic voice, but it was not in English. Yeah. So then you had to kind of read these idiot things in subtitles. That would have at least been.
K. Heisig 75 comes in again with a good one, similar to what you said, Joseph. Confused Wiseman, not a bumbling idiot, something like that, where he's just can't get himself together. I like that.
Yeah.
He's the guy at the bar that's like, guys, I'm getting a loan, and I'm going to go start a car washing business.
Yeah.
Like,
and they do that. There's that great episode in Clone Wars where it's basically a buddy movie with him and Mace Windu. Yeah. And Mace can't just believe the indignity that he's stuck with this idiot. And but he's an idiot with not a heart of gold, but an idiot with a kernel of a brain.
For me, I would have a little bit more of a serious edge. I know that's not what they were going with, but if he had been some sort of fallen warrior who needed to do things to get back into the good graces of his clan or his family or his people. And so some of those things in the battle, on the final battle in Phantom Menace, when he's accidentally taking the blue balls out and, tripping everything and winning by accident.
Yeah.
But if he had been a fallen warrior who recaptured some of his old glory through the decision-making of his character recapturing it, but also was kind of the guy who was like, yeah, I got a plan, but it's not working.
There could have been that battle. Even could have had some like great Han Solo moments where he thinks he has a great battle idea, but it's clearly like risky and absurd and like that kind of nice humor.
We're going to stay with the prequels for the next question. You have to answer. You have to choose one. What is the better? Underline, better. What is the better prequel scene? I hate sand or truly, deeply love you.
That is very easy for me.
Take it.
The truly, deeply, madly, or whatever the third one is, truly, deeply
love you
with awareness. No, I think that is a better scene. I think Natalie Portman's delivery is good. It's just not supported because the rest of the relationship hasn't been super great on screen. Right. But her actual delivery, I believe that she is facing death in this arena and that she really wants to confess this thing in the moment. I believe that moment by itself. The sand moment is it is better in terms of I'm glad that exists because it is fascinating.
I picked sand because for similar reasons. Padme seems very much in tune with the type of relationship that she wants, whereas Anakin's like, pretty girl, and so it's
like me at a bar.
The sand line, it sounds like it comes from a place of, yeah, this is a good line. I got it. So it sounds like it's somebody who's desperately trying to say something romantic.
Gotcha.
And because that is, I think, what George was thinking as well.
Sure.
That I think that this line, both a little ridiculous. While that one is better performed, this one, because it's awkward from an awkward place in an awkward situation, I think this one fits despite being completely and utterly ridiculous.
You guys have chosen well, and Joseph, your point is very well. I'm going to side with you, Joseph, on this.
Do it.
Because that's one of my favorite scenes, or would have been one of my favorite scenes, had they not spoken.
Yeah. Yes, because the emotion would have been clear.
The emotion would have been enough. You look at each other, you've gone on this adventure, you are secretly in love, you're about to be killed, and just look at each other, kiss, and then you go out to the arena to be murdered by creatures. What are those creatures called?
Nexu, Acklay, and Reek.
And the Reek. It's a Theon Greyjoy of the Star Wars universe. Yeah.
It's like
That's scene enough. But unfortunately, the dialogue's there, but I'm still going to go with it.
Yeah.
I can get behind that one. The sand one, though, you're right, because I've been there. I've been there with girls going, you like pasta? No, yes. So I understand what you're saying, and I think you both made compelling arguments.
Yeah, but the sand is creepy. The sand has actually creepy. It's not. I can't agree with
the whole time.
I can't agree with the bumbling pickup line. It's like it's dumping his baggage of his. I'm gonna hit on you by dumping my childhood baggage on you and comparing it to your physical form. Your physical form is unlike my childhood trauma.
But then that reminds me of 40-Year-Old Virgin, like a bag of sand.
Exactly.
All right. I love it. I mean, in a comedic way, I love it.
I love it. All right. What planet would you want to raise a family on? We often ask people, what's your favorite planet in the Star Wars universe? What planet would you want to raise a family on, Mark?
This one was easy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then run with it.
Naboo. Are you kidding?
Okay.
In 2, it's like old town Italy.
Yeah.
It's like a Renaissance rebirth, and
Lake
you got
Como,
space gondolas and beautiful fields for summer vacations. It seems like an ideal.
Your kid can become queen or king
Just by doing it?
Yeah, by 12.
Yeah.
I think there's something wrong with Naboo, though. I mean,
volunteer security officers.
You don't want to get lost in the swamps or under the ocean. But
right? Yeah. But now we're peaceful with the Gungans, right? We're Okie Day with the Gungans.
Me should be thinking we Okie Day.
But yeah, I had never thought that it's in this great position, but the plot point is that they're having financial issues.
Yeah,
they were in the first one.
I guess
That's
the second
why I'm going by the
one.
second
All right,
one.
okay, fair enough. So yeah.
A lot of
where do they?
Amidala's gone.
Where do they? Okay, where do they put the poor people? They must put them on another planet because you're right.
Are there
everybody,
poor people?
Yeah, there's got to be. It's an economy.
I think there's a part of the planet we're not seeing yet.
I think there's a third part to the symbiote circle.
It's like 20s New York where everybody's in like slums together with apartment buildings.
Might be another Tarkin town up there.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people are saying Naboo, and I get it. Visually, it makes sense too.
I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, just don't get lost in the planet core. Joseph?
I have never heard that line, the inherent Bela Lugosi Dracula in that line. The planet core. I think I would go with Coruscant. I mean, it's where everything's happening.
Center? You're an urban man, right?
Right, yeah. I'm an urban man. I like the urban environment, and I do feel like there's clear social strata. Like, if you're poor, you're down there in the trenches, and if you're very rich, you're up there at the top. But then there's plenty of places in the middle.
Yeah. You don't want to get stuck on level 1313.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, in the book Dark Disciple, which is coming out soon, I have an advanced copy. I'm about halfway through it. 1313, level 1313 factors very big into that book, so it's good. So if you knew about that video game, and that will probably never come out, Coruscant is a good choice. I mean, you got a lot of things to choose from. You just want to like life. You want to get higher on the levels.
Yeah.
Visual representation.
Joey Bean says Hoth only if it has a Santa's village in the winter. Joey, quit drinking today. Dagobah done. Lewis Malone wants to go to Dagobah. A lot of people saying no Alderaan. But Terror Kicks says Alderaan before episode 4, and that is a good answer. But for me, I'm gonna go with this is a tough one. Would like to make a case for Mustafar. I don't think that is, but I think I'm gonna go with Tatooine.
Really?
Yeah, because we saw how well it did for the universe. They raised two great boys from that.
Oh, so you're going for the community,
Anakin
for the schools.
first. Oh, yeah, I know he became Darth Vader for a long time, but in the end, he was good. And then Luke Skywalker saved the galaxy. And, his friends that you didn't really see in New Hope that were cut, if you read the novel, Cammy and all those people down there.
They have a nice little community.
They have a little community. And Biggs escaped to do big things.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So you want to spend your life sucking moisture out of the
I feel I already live in Tatooine now by living out here in the valley.
Yeah.
So I think I could give it a go. It's like a nice, it's a suburban community planet waiting to be properly developed. It's like the Back to the Future town before 1985.
The Lion Estates of the galaxy.
It is the Lion's Estate of the galaxy.
All right.
Dantooine, says Dookie Blue Fan 11. Dantooine. It's a good choice. Favorite bounty hunter not named Boba Fett?
Skip me.
I think I know your answer. We'll start with Joseph.
I do like Jango Fett. I think he is interesting. Okay. He's one of the few bounty hunters where we got to see kind of his perspective in life.
Yeah.
And kind of how he makes his stuff work. And a bounty hunter who found a way to retire.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
a good point.
You want to clone me? Cool. I'll hang out in your water planet and
he's like
go out for a job every once in a while.
He's like the Dread Pirate Roberts of the Star Wars universe.
But I've always liked Bosk, just visually. He is fascinating.
Yeah.
He is the victim of some of the only overt racism that we hear in the original trilogy when the Imperial officer looks at him in disgust.
Yeah. Bounty hunter.
And that shot, just his feet and then just going. It's very imposing.
Bosk is a very important. He's got a Black Series 6-inch figure. If it's not already out, it's coming out. He pop vinyls.
Adorable pop vinyl.
Yeah, they seem to make him in every form. I think he's very popular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And appears in Dark Disciple.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait for this book.
In some way. So, Mark, I know your answer, but explain it even more.
Yeah, so Dargo. With Dargo, IG-88 has always just been...
You like him?
I like him.
He's fascinating.
Yeah. I would want a die-cast director set so I could build my own IG-88.
I love it. I appreciate it. I save it. We're getting a lot of votes for Zam Wessel, Melanie Dawn. I love Zam Wessel, beginning Attack the Clones. She's a changelong. And David Barnes, Fan Solo, Louis Malone. They are on my tip to one of my favorite characters of the Clone Wars, and that is Cad Bane.
Okay, he's pretty great.
I totally love Cad Bane. There's some kind of mythology there with that character that I think we're still going to learn more about. Again, how many times have I said on the show, why is Sabine graffitiing a picture of Cad Bane on her wall? I want to find that out.
Nice.
And I love Cad Bane. I think it was one of the things that, again, when I first saw it, and he has that oversized kind of,
the big hat,
spaghetti western cowboy hat. I'm like, oh no. And I just got into that character. And it's a good character.
Amazing voice, yeah.
Very good voice work on that one as well. So the next question is, we're going to turn down the lights low.
Here's the whiskey.
We're going to turn it on down. This is when the Redbreast whiskey had really hit me. And I was alone on a Saturday night. I ask you guys this question. Did Qui-Gon Jinn and Schmoes Skywalker get it on?
Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask before Phantom Menace. Before Phantom Menace,
Doesn't
or after?
matter.
Just
Doesn't
in general?
matter. That's a very good wrinkle to the question mark.
After Phantom Menace, also I think is possible he could have visited her in some sort of spirit
in
form.
ghost form.
Yeah.
Or I should say during. Not after.
We could do the Whoopi Goldberg can sign on. We could do the ghost spin-off in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and then
Unchained Melody sung by Cy Snoodles.
Yeah, she gets taken
Yeah,
by the Tusken Raiders, so you even got that connection.
that's true. That's true. And when Anakin goes and kills the Tusken Raiders and his mom's there, who is the voice telling him to stop?
No, Annie, no.
No,
Yeah.
it's Qui-Gon. So, Mark?
I say no for the fact that if they had, then why didn't he do everything that he could to free her with the bet?
Okay.
For the pod
Because
race?
I mean, to me, it fills out the hints of what Qui-Gon's character is in Phantom Menace. Of he is in the Jedi Order, but he believes in a different kind of force than everybody else, which is the force, the living force that says, go with it.
Yeah.
The rules are ideas. They are guidelines. And for him, he doesn't believe in the, hey, you can't love people. So he bends that rule a little bit. They share a night of intimacy and comfort in this trying time.
Hopefully comfort.
And then he doesn't actually want to bend the rules of attachment and get attached.
Right.
He doesn't want to bend the rules of. He's already done some things that I think he's not proud of in order to get Anakin off the planet. He doesn't want to go all the way of like.
Yeah.
Just because we shared this intimate adult agreed upon moment, she doesn't expect that of me. She knows I can't do that.
Yeah.
She wants the son off the planet.
I always think of the song by, I believe, The Looking Glass, Brandy, you're a fine woman, what a good wife you would be, but the life, my love of my lady is the sea. I
just hope there was no mind tricks involved.
I don't think so.
I don't think you needed to, because when he gets there, here's the key moment for me.
Yeah.
I think it's implied that there's some sexual tension. I think it's implied that Shmi is cut adrift, and Qui-Gon, I agree with you. We just said we were talking far, far away this morning.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon, Quinlan Vos, Zypha Diaz, even Dooku. They're all the same style of Jedi. They all kind of hang together. They all kind of had the same kind of point of view. They just went different directions. I think Qui-Gon was like, I like this girl, but I can't commit.
Yeah.
And the moment when he was like, who's the father? She was like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, there was no father. Yeah,
that was the moment where you're like,
I think for anybody who's listening and has no idea what the hell we're talking about for some reason, there are some knowing looks exchanged between them in the Phantom Menace. Like, I think total great actor moments. Maybe the intention was just they're surrounded by innocence and hubris that everything's going to work out from Obi-Wan, from Anakin, from Padme even, and they're the two like, hey, we're over 40. We know the universe.
The dating pool has shrunk.
Shut up, kids. And I feel it's just like they put all the kids to bed and they had some whiskey and talked about, we all know this is actually screwed up and it's really dark and we don't have much hope. We both know that, right?
I think there was that moment. Hey, Annie, you want to power down 3PO? Cool. You getting tired? Cool. That you probably hurt. The midi-chlorian's getting pulled out. You're probably a little hurt. All right, go to bed. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Hey, girl.
Go work on your pod.
Yeah.
Go work on your pod.
Yeah, Padme's taking a nap. Jar Jar's, hey, could you go to the store?
Jar Jar.
Could you go to the store and get us some milk? Some blue milk?
But to me, if it happens, it is what I will call 40-something sex.
Yeah.
People know exactly. It's utterly consensual. They both know exactly what's going on. It's neither party manipulating or taking advantage of the other one.
It's free.
Totally like, we're both here. this is the moment.
This is the moment.
That's fine.
I love it.
Fair.
We just had that discussion. We had it.
That was
on
beautiful.
Jedi Alliance. Final question in the bonus.
bathroom
You guys have been great, and you guys in the chat room have been great. I've really been enjoying reading your responses. I wish I could get to all of them sometimes. But the final question is a little bit of an open-ended. You got to kind of pitch me this story. What would have happened if Luke was able to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters? What would have happened to the Star Wars universe at that point? I'll take the first in.
I think it'd be relatively simple. It'd be, well, we just lost 2 droids. Let's just wait and see what they come back with next time they're around. And Luke doesn't get involved. Never learns anything about his dad. The stormtroopers are, they're Empire's here again. Crap. Just let them search real quick and then they'll be gone.
I think Obi-Wan is sitting in his hut meditating. He knows eventually destiny will bring him and Luke together, and the moment will present himself where he should tell Luke the truth. He's been waiting for years for destiny to intervene.
Right.
And I think if he was sitting there meditating and saw he's going to pick up some power converters and then we won't converge, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi would have went and he would have stolen the power converters. So Luke couldn't pick them up.
I think that's a great moment. I think that's a great point. Both of you make good points. That it just the Empire could have rolled on and won, or that Obi-Wan would have been like,
it would have taken a little bit
to give
longer.
fate a nudge.
Do I have to get this going? And I think I would have gone with that. I think, but it's fun to think what would have happened if some of the things hadn't happened. Maybe Luke, if he couldn't have sold his speeder for enough money to meet Han Solo's price, Those funny things.
Sorry.
You never would have known. You never know. Fun way to kind of end it. That is our bonus question round. I'm going to keep these questions around, and maybe we'll ask them some other people that come on through. I especially want to get a lot of people's opinion on the Qui-Gon and Schmoes Skywalker one. I think that's
You could have probably put a whole podcast around that if you wanted
I think
to.
You could. I think you could. It's
written a scene.
It's a very important
it.
question. Performed it. Written a scene.
I will work on it tonight.
Some fan fiction. Some Qui-Gon.
Oh, I'm sure it exists, but I want to write my own. I'm very opinionated, obviously.
That's great. All right, this is the number you need to know. 424-253-0504. Once again, that's 424-253-0504. That is a phone number to get you ringing into the studio, because it is time for us to do Cantina Confessions. We have confessed on this show before. I have. Joseph has. You, of course, confessed that you drug your poor mother to Star Tours for like 15 straight rides.
That was a great day.
So I love hearing from the fans. Hopefully you can start calling in right now. Once again, 424-253-0504 gets you into the studio. I want to hear your most embarrassing Star Wars confession of fandom. That's what I want from you. And even Jonathan, if you got someone calling in, let me know. Give me a thumbs up or just put them on. JTE, I wish I could get you to confess, but you probably don't even know what Star Wars is. If it was just imagine if it's Rocky Balboa with a saber sword. That's that. What do we got? We got anyone calling in? No one yet?
Anybody in chat?
Anyone? Okay. Well, I'll take some in the chat till we got the phone lines ringing here. 424-253-0504. I feel like I'm on a PBS fundraiser. We do have someone on the line. All right. So let's do that. Welcome to Jedi Alliance. This is Ken, Mark, Joseph. I'm here to take your Cantina confession. Who do we have? Where are you calling from?
Did they hang up?
Boca Raton, you're on.
Here we go. We got another one.
There we go. I see the lines are coming in now. All right. Hey, welcome to Jedi Alliance. It's time for Cantina Confession. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
How's it going, Ken? It's Justin Coffey from Texas.
Justin Coffey, one of our dedicated fans here at Jedi Alliance. Justin calling from Texas. Justin, confess.
This is like the biggest embarrassing one. I was introduced at a very young age to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I hadn't experienced that first love. And you just see Leia with Luke Skywalker in Episode 4.
Yeah.
And then have it just crushed in Episode 5 when you find out she's kissing her brother.
It broke your faith in the romantic process. That's what I'm hearing.
For a while, it crushed my trust with Solo. I was just like, I didn't understand at that age, and I was like,
That's great. That's great. Justin, thank you so much for calling in with that confession and being a great supporter of Jedi Alliance. In the chat room, Fan Solo says, confession, I actually won a 6-inch Jar Jar Binks Black Series figure. You know what? I'd buy it too.
Yeah, especially if it came with blue balls.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jabra, take the blue balls. We got someone else on the line coming in now. This is Jedi Alliance. Time for your Cantina confession. Where are you calling from, and who is this?
Not just yet.
Oh, not just yet. Oh, I thought I saw someone up there. Keep calling in, 424-253-0504. Pretty soon I'm going to... JT's saying, confession, I was crushed when Darth Vader was white. Oh, you wanted James Earl Jones to be in there. You know what? That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad idea. Maybe it could have been. It would have changed the nature of the story. Daniel Pooch says, I once bought 17 packs of Frosty cereal to collect the Phantom Menace toys when it came out.
Nice.
Daniel, I'm right there with you, except for I bought all of the Pepsi products that came out with the Phantom Menace figures on the cans, and I kept them displayed in my house till one day I came home and one of them had just kind of spontaneously combusted, and all this sugary syrup was all over my thing. All right, we got someone coming on the line here for a Cantina confession on Jedi Alliance. Who is this? Where are you calling from? And what is your confession?
This is Pit Boss?
Yes, sir. It's the Pit Boss asking you for your confession. Who is this?
This is Zeke, calling from Chicago.
Zeke and beautiful downtown Chicago. Zeke, tell me, what is your confession?
Hey, I'm calling. I want to let you guys know a little secret that happened between me and my wife. Cosplay.
Nice.
Some cosplay, huh?
Yeah. Well,
what? Yeah?
let's keep it mild, and I'll let you guys know that there was a Wookiee costume and a Slave Leia costume involved.
Oh, no. Please tell me you were the Slave Leia.
Oh, no. Not this time, but...
I thought it was combined.
It happened in the back of the Millennium Falcon when Tom was sleeping.
That when Han was sleeping. You guys, this sounds like fan fiction.
That's
you
great.
wrote out. Wow, that is awesome. That is a confession that makes my collar a little hot.
It's a beautiful moment.
That is a beautiful. Thank you so much for that confession, all the way from Chicago, Zeke. Let's get one more in here. We've got someone on the line about to confess their Cantina confession, an embarrassing aspect of their Star Wars fandom. Who do you got? Who do we have, and where are you calling from?
This is Ryan calling from Huntington Beach.
Nice.
I just wanted to ask, first off, how's that pipe smoking for you there, Ken?
I have never had 1 ounce of drugs in my life. Coming up with those questions was all whiskey.
Yes.
Actually, I meant the one I gave you at Star Wars Celebration.
No. I absolutely. Okay, I thought you were talking about my questions. Yes, it's still displayed prominently, waiting for someone to teach me how to smoke it.
Is this an e-sync?
No. He at Star Wars Celebration, he ran up to me and was like very nice, and I was having a birthday, and he presented me with a great birthday gift from his pipe shop. It's a tobacco pipe, and it smells spectacular.
Oh wow, that's
great. It is out of the box and displayed above my desk. I appreciate it. It's a gift from a fan. I loved it.
Yeah.
So, when I was a young man, I and my friend used to climb his swing set in the backyard of his home and pretend that we were both Luke Skywalker climbing up underneath the AT-AT to detonate it. And when he fell and smacked his head on the concrete, and his mother asked what was going on, I explained to her that he was not strong enough in the Force and a pretender to being true Luke Skywalker, and stuck to that.
Well,
and
that just sounds like fact.
Looking back on it, I was proud.
You know what? My Cantina confession updated would be, I would like to act out that scene now. I'd like to climb the swing set and take down an Imperial Walker. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for the gift again, and thank you for calling in and confessing. We're going to take one more, then we're going to start to move to Duel of Fates and close out the show. It's been fun. The phone lines are been working. You guys have been great. So we got one call on now, ready to confess. Who is this, and where are you calling from? Turn down your computer.
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike from Texas.
Mike from Texas. What part of Texas, Mike?
Killeen.
Nice. I like it. Mike, what is your confession?
All right, it's, I grew up in the early 90s, and I love the prequels, you know. No matter what anybody say, I love them, and I just
Hey, that's a great thing. I love that people can celebrate. This show is about celebrating all aspects of Star Wars, including little Annie and his pod race. I love it. So, Mike, is that your confession that you just love the prequels, or do you have something specific?
I think we lost him.
We lost him. Oh, well, okay. Hey, but Mike confessed something that I think a lot of people are starting to confess more and more of these days. The prequels, I find entertaining, but a lot of people, when you grow up in a certain generation, I think it's generational, but we're learning, Joseph, that it's going beyond the generation.
Yeah.
People are okay with it. So that is our round of Cantina Confessions today. Here, we'll do more of those for sure. I appreciate the calls and appreciate the stuff in the chat room. Joey Beans, your confession of making pew-pew sounds in the middle of sex doesn't sound real at all. But I love you, Joey. You're one of my favorites. So we're going to close the show out here in a few minutes, going into Duel of the Fates. Each week, we put this question to you. We debate it here on the show. And then on the Facebook page, Jedi Alliance, you can get in on the conversation. And last week, we asked a very video game-centric one, and that is Player One, choose your player. Who would you rather play? Who is your favorite Star Wars video game character of these two? And it was Dash Rendar versus Gala Merrick, a.k.a. Star Killer. Donica, you were here.
Star Killer.
You took Star Killer. Did I go with Rendar? I can't remember. I think I went with Star Killer, but
you made a case for Rendar.
I made a case for Rendar.
Went for Star Killer.
Joseph, jump in on this one here.
Yeah, well, Dash Rendar is sad Han Solo.
Yeah, that was essentially what we were saying.
But Star Killer is a long line of almost Sith, but not quite Sith. So I don't know. I might lean towards Rendar.
I like that. Okay. Well, the fans, it wasn't even close. 51-17 went Star Killer over Dash Rendar. We did get one vote, though, for Maud Garrett, asking where Maud was. Erwin Vargas says Star Killer. I mean, that name. The guy kills stars. That's a good point. Nick Widener says Dash Rendar is a dollar store version of Han Solo. He is like the off-brand Coke that they sell there. So because of that, he's going with Star Killer. Andrew Rivera says Dash Rendar. Dude is shady as bloop. Star Killer is overkill. I like that. We had people who voted for Dash Rendar were very passionate about Dash Rendar. William Dash, spelled D-A-C-H, says Dash Rendar. My name throughout high school was William Dash Rendar. Now, Kim Ibnsgard wrote a long, quite frankly, an essay about Dash Rendar. And I can't read all of it. Go to the Facebook page, but he had some great points. Star Killer is way too overpowered. It does not fit into the Star Wars universe that I grew up with in the 80s, and there's some truth to that. And from a certain point of view, no pun intended, I could see that, where he was too big of a character.
Well, that's why he doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, absolutely. And Shadows of the Empire, the game where Dash Rendar was a star, lets you take part in the Battle of Hoth. It was one of the first times we really got to go into Hoth, but it also takes you to Ord Mantell and Tatooine, which is a very big deal for Star Wars fans back then. Plus, he's the closest thing you get to playing Han Solo, being a bit of a Han Solo rip-off. And finally, Kim says, double shoulder padding trumps everything. And I think that's a great
practical wear.
Great comments this week, guys. This is this week's debate now. It is... well, pretty simple one. I think we've had some deep questions here today. We've kind of answered some very important things about the Star Wars universe, especially about Qui-Gon Jinn. So we're going to go pretty simple. Who has the better hairstyle? Is it General Tag from the Imperial Army, short Caesar cut with the sideburns? Or General Crix May-Dean, one of Joseph Scrimshaw's favorite characters, or figures at least, in the Star Wars universe. These people have, they have some pretty iconic hair, and I want to put it to the floor. Jump on in here. Who do you think?
This is not going to be a surprise, but I'm going to go May-Dean.
Okay, not a surprise at all.
May-Dean's haircut is awful. It looks as though he just ran out of a salon halfway through. Something happening.
Like Mothma was calling him in the middle of the car. I was like, oh crap, I gotta get over there.
Skywalker's back. He's rescued Solo. We actually have stuff to do. Okay. But he has options.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
not locked into that.
Yeah, he can do a mohawk from here. He can do a slick back. He could do a ponytail. He could do a top knot.
Is that expanded universe canon?
Tag is Madine's Top Knot. My next band name. Tag is limited.
Tag is limited.
Tag seems like he's making the best out of a bad situation. Like, he started losing it and he went, you know what? I'm just going to go full straight cut across, make it look like I did it on purpose, keep some of my dignity, and hope some of the folks just look after my chops.
There's no dignity. It's like a bowl cut that went wrong.
I'm not saying
so
that.
he went shorter.
No, I agree with Madine. Madine was 100% because that looks like he was in the middle of trying to do it right. And also, I mean, I know the stick doesn't factor into his hairstyle, but you got to be like, he probably did it and went, that's not good enough, hold on, and then he grabbed a prop, and then he took the prop, and that's when he went, if people focus on the stick, they won't focus on my hair.
Nice.
Schmoes JT, our very own JT, host of Box Office Breakdown, says we've all had teachers with these exact hairstyles growing up, and I think that's pretty accurate. So we're going Madine. Look, man, I think I need Tag's hair because I am in that point where I probably got to do something about my hair, and I can't. I used to have long, thick, luxurious hair that could probably allow me to do a Madine top knot. But I think the best hairstyle, it's Madine. It's a clean sweep for General Crix Madine. Because I'll tell you, that hairstyle, in combination with the beard, they both have facial hair decisions that they have made. Tags is very much of his time, and so is Madine's of his time, too. There was a lot of men conducting business deals in 1983 with that kind of look.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of things, but that hair...
He could be investing in Apple right now.
He could. That hair...
Little known, Steve Wozniak up for that.
Yeah. I believe, and this is another one maybe for another time, I believe in my heart that Crix Madine and Maud Mothma had a thing.
Yeah.
That's a bonus question.
And I think this hair helped him seal that deal.
It is. It's closer to her hair.
She might have had the better hairstyle.
I don't know if I can recommend that as a way to meet people, to make your hair the most like theirs. But maybe it worked for Madine.
So that's what I'm going with. Crix Madine. Excellent points made by all. And including you in the chat room. And yes, Fan Solo, it has come to this, a battle of the hair don'ts. There's a lot of
vest versus jacket the other week.
We did do vest.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we did do vest. There's
We're getting there.
A lot of things to duel about in the Star Wars. And the JT, you're still chatting. Madine, spelled rather incorrectly, alone sounds like a shampoo product. It's Maybelline. That's good. You're good, kid. You're good. Go back to your Rocky humor.
Easy breezy, beautiful Madine.
So as always, we will take this picture, and this is going to probably be the best picture I ever post in the Duel of Fates.
Oh, absolutely.
These two hairstyles, and I'll put them up on the Facebook page, and you can join the conversation there. Jedi Alliance on Facebook. Put a comment, not just vote. Make it interesting. Make it fun. Have fun with it, and maybe you'll have your comment read next week. Next week is our show right before Comic-Con, as we'll head down. Mark won't be heading down, but we'll send you a postcard.
Please do.
We'll all be down for various reasons. Working, celebrating, having fun, maybe partying with Harrison Ford after the panel. That's not going to happen.
Taking a flight in his personal plane.
We will
Probably
definitely be back next week. Thanks so much for joining the show, Mark. Donica, where can they find you and follow your adventures?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at SoapboxMark. Also, Ken, we're going to have you on the Gimmick Pod very, very soon, hopefully about next week. And then also, if you stay tuned to Popcorn Talk Network, there is a new show that we do called Do Games, Make Good Movies.
Yeah.
Most cases, you can probably figure out the answer. But tonight, you could probably figure out the answer. We're going to be doing the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993 tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join us live.
Nice.
Be in the chat room because it's going to be a fun one.
Such pain.
Such pain.
And Dylan Esposito says Mark could easily rock a Madine haircut if you let it grow out a bit and work on it, though.
Yeah.
You could try that. Joseph Scrimshaw, you are a regular contributor to Jedi Alliance, which is to the benefit of this show.
Oh, thank you.
You always bring such great and funny and deep pontifications about Star Wars. I had a pleasure being on your Obsessed podcast this past week, discussing self-loathing. It was a very fun hour.
Yeah, it's the topic is self-loathing. The podcast is called Obsessed. It's on Feral Audio or you can find it on my website at josephscrimshaw.com. You can find the links to it. But Ken wanted to talk about self-loathing, and it's a really fun, cathartic episode. It is not a bummer at all.
No, it's great. Yeah. It's fun. So do me a favor, follow Joseph Scrimshaw and all his adventures. Follow Soapbox Mark and all his adventures around here at AfterBuzz in the wrestling world and in the Star Wars world as well right now.
Starting
with me, you can follow me at Ken Napzok on Twitter and all forms of social media. I'll probably Periscope more things in lobbies and cars and things while I'm waiting for other things. And do that. Thanks so much to Jonathan in the engineer booth doing such a great job handling phone calls, putting up pictures, and making Jedi Alliance flow today. Popcorn Talk is growing. It is on YouTube, youtube.com/Popcorn Talk. If you're watching the show live, you're there already. If you're on iTunes, jump on over to Popcorn Talk and try some of their stuff. You have profiles with Manson Malone, Guilty Movie Pleasures, Box Office Breakdown with our very own JT, Tom Dagnino, and Sarah Stredden, who is still not on Twitter. Meet the Movie Press, Marvel Movie News, DC Movie News. There's Mark's show, like you said, do games, make good movies. Bolly What is also there. You got the cosplay coach is also on the channel as well. The channel is growing, and they do a lot of red carpet interviews as well. So plug in now if you haven't already to Popcorn Talk. Jedi Alliance is on iTunes. Rate and review. Subscribe if you're there. Follow us at Jedi_Alliance. Follow the Popcorn Talk at the Popcorn Talk, and follow Schmoes Know at Schmoes Know live 6 p.m. PST from this very studio every Thursday. We just confirmed a very big guest coming up in August post Comic-Con. I can't quite announce it now, but it is a very big, exciting guest that I'm sure is a guest we could talk Star Wars with if we wanted to. So follow those adventures there. It's been such a pleasure having fun with you guys today and finding out if Qui-Gon Jinn and Shmi Skywalker got it on. So until next time, this has been Jedi Alliance of the Popcorn Talk Network. We talk movies. Thank you for listening, because many Bothans died to bring us this information.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.